AKAPADers, what is happening? Peter A. DeLuca here, your film buff, your obsessive film freak. Yes, I'm debating and changing the name of this podcast to the Obsessive Film Freak from Philadelphia, PA. That's not really going to happen, but I just like calling myself that because I think it's a good descriptor of what you're about to get into. We've been a little bit on the Star Wars deep dive again. This is the third episode, not straight episode, because again we obsessively do nothing but upload endless movie opinions here. But today is Revenge of the Fifth. Yesterday was May the 4th be with you. Revenge of the Fifth is a little bit of a nudge to Revenge of the Sixth, episode 3 of the Star Wars saga. Did you guys know about Star Wars Visions? It started in 2021. Star Wars Visions is creative minds without much holding them back, meaning very loose editorial standards, meaning we can't show boobies, we can't do blood, we can't do extreme violence. But if you're a creator and you want to work with us and you know how to animate and put together a short film, we want to work with you. And that's what Walt Disney, and I say Walt Disney, now we can say Star Wars Lucasfilm, but there's nothing but the imagination of Walt Disney that flows through this entire series. And today we're going to just hyper focus on season 2, but they call them volumes. So this is volume 2, 2023, episode 1, 10th episode overall. It's titled Sith. Original air date May 4th, 2023. And why are we talking about Sith? Just one, 10 minutes short. And the reason for that is when I recently experienced this for the first time, it just reminded me that Star Wars is meant to be fun, and it's not meant to divide people. It's not meant to create endless backs and forths or people hardlining what some of the chronological order of things are. Overall, it's meant to be fun. Now, we can enjoy it in other ways, which a lot of people do, but we can always revert to the fun side. And that's what we're doing today. So it's Revenge of the Fifth. Even we're supposed to be dark and dreadful, but we're being a little bit more happy and peppy today. So guys, we're still talking Star Wars. Hang out with me. Let's get through that intro.
Quiet on the set.
Camera speed.
Sound production, take 1.
Action!
So here's the amazing thing, my AKAPAD. Before we get into it, subscribe, support, do me a favor. It's all free. Leave a comment, give me a thumbs up, promote the Film Buff Podcast, because guys, anyone out there that listens on a regular basis, we predict a lot. We're ahead of trends. This podcast overall is a big idea, but it's a big idea in the terms of even how Star Wars is a big idea. There's a reach. A lot of you out there, when you guys heard that Revenge of the Fifth, the Revenge of the Sixth 25th anniversary episode that was a couple back, there was a good outpouring, and a lot of you were asking, what am I going to do for today? And there's a little bit of a flow there, because I see what you guys are saying to me. Some of you, I communicate with one-to-one, which I'm always flattered at, AKAPADers. And I saw something. I saw that this wasn't about Chewbacca's appearance in Revenge of the Sixth that kind of breaks things, right? It's just about Star Wars, and for a lot of you out there, that's become your Star Wars movie. Which we saw, it was echoed in the box office. I think it's the biggest re-release in Hollywood history. Not with inflation though. Ticket prices are just insane. That's almost like a nothing burger, but it's a good headline. So with going back and forth, I just said, what's new? What's new that's Sith that I kind of haven't seen that I can bring to you guys? And I remember Star Wars Visions, and I'm like, oh, there's gotta be something because I've only seen a few episodes of Volume 1, which was, let me get that year again, might have been 2021. 2021. So every 2 years they're dropping 10 episodes of this series, and I think this is one of the best things Disney Star Wars has ever done, next to like Force Awakens seasons 1 and 2 of Mandalorian, which I still haven't watched yet, by the way. Guys, I'm not a obsessive Star Wars freak. There's a sweet spot from the 90s content, the novels, the Dark Horse comics, the original drops, pre-special edition Star Wars, that I love mulling over and learning about. But I've been of the generation where Star Wars has constantly shifted and changed. And I think we're going to look back to a lot of the, if some people want to call it the Kathleen Kennedy era of Star Wars. There's going to be people that cycle back to it, for sure. If we have people who are 100% apologetic about the prequels, episodes 1, 2, and 3, the Kathleen Kennedy era is going to be just fine. You guys have to remember the post-sequel era of Star Wars was an absolute betrayal. It was a visceral betrayal to all of Star Wars fans, and that's really was like the first divide. I know a lot of you like to say special editions, but the special editions really got people back in theaters. It was a good enough gimmick. You can say what you want about Return of the Jedi. I prefer the original Return of the Jedi. Sorry, Hayden Christensen fans. Don't make him a ghost at the end. That just makes no sense to me. But it's stuff like that. And I fully understand that time marches on and things change. I think when time marches on and they look back on some of these episodes, I think this episode 1, titled Sith, directed by Rodrigo Bias. It's Blast. Sorry, it's Blast. Wow, that guy's last name was Blast. Rodrigo Blast, written by Rodrigo Blast. Animation by El Gurin. And El Gurin is a one-man animation machine. He has a style very similar to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. He has a style very similar to Into and Across the Spider-Verse, which is almost like brushwork in motion. Like it's almost like just this active breathing frame that these guys can create with either the software or some of the algorithm. Or it could be just like a built-in feature that they kind of like hack a little bit, or they have a couple of touches to get it like in that way, like in that effect. And the story is absolutely fascinating. And the whole intent of this series, I believe a lot of these guys, when they sit down to do an animated short, they're chasing the Wachowski brothers at the time, or the Wachowskis nowadays, Animatrix. And you guys knew that was coming because you guys know I go to Animatrix often. Animatrix is the greatest of these types of anthologies. The range of Animatrix and the way it touches on the absolute themes of the Matrix, it's all inspiring. There's not one in that entire DVD that doesn't hit. It's all, to me, always should be studied and admired. But Star Wars Visions really comes close. I enjoyed what I saw of Volume 1, the dual Tatooine Rhapsody and the twins. Now, there's other ones, like I got maybe like 6 or 7 more to go when it comes to this. And then I have the other 9 volumes or 9 episodes for Visions Volume 2 or Season 2. So the story here is we have this female Sith. She's not a Jedi. She's a Sith. She has one hell of a bionic arm. She has one amazing droid. And her droid is almost like a mini version of some of the canon droids like these spheres with walking legs, and they have kind of like a cyclops lens eye, and there's like a cannon that comes out of the middle. But we see them in Attack of the Clones, and I don't know if this is a standard like Astro Droid or if it's like modified, or if, because it fits in her fighter outside next to the cockpit. But the other Astro Droids that we see throughout Star Wars, they're pretty much in the back towards the engines of any of the single pilot fighters or single pilot vessels. So I don't know, but I'm sure there's even like within the Star Wars canon and lore, there's a classification I'm missing for some of these fighters, like the X-wings and the Naboo fighter, so on and so forth. But it's such an interesting droid, and it's awesome, and the droid has a moment. So this Sith girl who has one amazing designed bionic arm, as soon as you see this girl's like arm and hair, you're like, this, like, I'm locked into Star Wars. This is, and Star Wars, to get that reaction from someone, from me, for example, there's things to nail. There's almost like the secret language of what makes something Star Wars and what doesn't. This is very difficult to achieve. I mean, guys, we go back to, which is weird to me how people gloss over like some of the George Lucas stuff. But if we go to, and it's a good reference, and I keep bringing it up, the Ewok made for TV movies, like the Battle for Endor, there was 2 of them. Doesn't quite fit in Star Wars. Star Wars Holiday Special with the Boba Fett animation, not quite fitting in Star Wars. These are all things that Lucas oversaw. He had control over. He saw these productions. He was involved with all of the decisions. Again, Lucas running that side of Star Wars, and we're still in like the early 80s with some of this. I believe 85, like 86, so maybe mid 80s. And then we get into the Droid animated series, not Star Wars. We get into the Ewok animated series, which is more of a true extension of the live action made for TV movies, but not quite Star Wars. But they did a fantastic job expanding all the Ewok stuff. That doesn't get enough credit. It's difficult to discern and to nail Star Wars. Another really good example is if we go to the Book of Boba Fett. It just doesn't quite feel like Star Wars, but everyone will say Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2 feels like Star Wars, but not season 3. Defining it is tough, and this short Sith walks the line. It really does, because we're of the mind, and it is very Animatrix like. I think it's Matriculation is the Animatrix episode that this reminded me of. Matriculation 2 is also, I think, Peter Chung, who's behind Aeon Flux and Phantom 2049. But she's struggling between this dark and the light side, and she's doing the painting. She's in this like hollow room, but she's not though. She's like in her own mind, and we see these paint droplets go from black to color, and then her master shows up. This guy, I don't even know if he has a name, but this is somewhat about like the rule of 2, and he needs her to kill him so that she can take over and become the new, either new apprentice or new master. And it really displays like how heartless and savage the Sith are, and this rule of 2 controls them. And it's always conflicting when we have characters like Darth Talon, Darth Dooku, who use, right, like these characters use the Force for like they're Sith warriors, but they're not exactly Sith. They're not of the rule of 2. It's confusing. It never made much sense, and they never explained it. But what they do is, like, storytelling wise, is when we have a Sith, we assume that they're mega powerful, they're mega deadly, and it's going to take everyone to beat them. So that's a little bit of a line that we see throughout all of Star Wars that, in my view, 100% like perfectly fits. But she's, it's like fight time. So she's fighting her old master. He's got 2 droids with him, and one of them gets taken out by her little like sphere droid. The thing just like blows off the dude's head. But it's great silhouettes, great design, and it's somewhat of, in my view, the first time we got into what what is the visual representation of this type of struggle, where we have a Sith that sees the light side of the Force and they're making a choice, and why they want to make that choice. This is, in my view, highly important. I mean, I see why it's episode 1 of volume 2, because it does hit you over the head just with the ideas and implications, and it's visualizing something that we never thought we would see, nor had to see, which is equal, like, it's another reason to why this is good and why this has gravity. I love the style for this. I like the action. I love the animation. To me, this is top notch, down the line. And the woman from this, like, hey, they're doing a lot of adaptation. They're taking a lot of the animated Clone War characters and they're folding them into the live action stuff. This girl, in my view, has a complete giant story, and one day I hope to either watch it, read about it, see it in the comic book, because I think this is a great character, and I will just go to it. I love her bionic arm. So guys, Star Wars Volume 2, it's available right now. Star Wars Visions on Disney Plus, Volume 2, Episode 1, Sith. It's fantastic.
Okay, that's a wrap.